Last week, Brendon Burchard did a training on New Year's Day that included what he considered four life stages. The first is mimicry and belonging. The second, rebellion and independence. The third, rhythm and hustle. And the fourth, renewal and leadership. These four stages in life are not necessarily sequential, like one right after the other, but are rather just like concepts or ideas of how people learn, interact, and that could describe various times in people's lives. I'm going to go over these stages briefly, and I really want you to think about these stages and ask yourself some questions. Where can you see yourself in these stages? What examples from your own life can be related to these stages? Are there some stages that you want to be in more, and why? How about less? What is one thing you need to do to be fully present in the stage of life that you want to be in right now? So contemplate these questions as I go through these life stages. So let's start by defining what it means to be in these stages and maybe some examples of what it might look like at different ages in our life. So let's start with mimicry. Mimicry is defined as copying or imitating another person. As infants, mimicry is how babies and toddlers learn about life. You see this all the time when adults or kids are interacting with infants and trying to get them to smile or maybe even stick their tongue out. As the adult smiles or sticks their tongue out, the infant often will try copying it or imitating them. As the child gets older and is learning to talk, they often will copy the sounds and words of others. School-age kids are learning by copying what their teachers want them to learn through taking notes, doing things on workbook pages, and other types of learning methods. Kids often also learn from their peers and other adults in their lives. They will mimic their language, including their intonation and the volume that they hear from others. Have you ever heard a kid use foul language? I know I have. And how did they learn that? They learned it from somewhere, from somebody. And really, isn't it amazing that they can use these words in the right context with the right intonation and emphasis? This is what mimicry is about. But you know what? Adults also do this. They also use mimicry. And I know I have oftentimes throughout my entire life. So far, I've taken many courses, read many books, listened to webinars, and I try to take that information and apply it just as it was taught to get the same results as the person that did it already, the results that they got. So, do you remember times when you've done this? Have you copied, say, a diet program in order to get the same weight loss results? Have you ever watched a video about cooking to make a meal or bread? I know I have. I've done one on sourdough this last year because I wanted to learn how to make sourdough. How about learning to invest money? Have you taken a course for work? So even as adults, we are constantly mimicking or imitating others. Part of it's just trying to belong and to be like our peers, but we all need to sense that we belong. That's the other part of this life stage is belonging. We need to feel like we are a part of a group. We belong to a group. We feel connected to others. So, what have you done in the past and even now to feel like you belong? Or what have you been doing recently that is seen as mimicry, that you are copying or imitating others to try to get the same results? So, the second stage of Brendon Burchard's that he talked about on New Year's was about rebellion and independence. Rebellion means resistance. Often we view it as an outward behavior, like resisting control, trying to be independent, which means not being influenced or controlled by another person. So they kind of go hand in hand. You rebel to try to be independent. But isn't it interesting that mimicry and belonging are first? stage that he talks about. And then we change from copying others and wanting to belong to rebelling and resisting other people and trying not to be influenced by them in this rebellion and independent stage. So this stage is more about personal freedom, finding yourself and who you really are on the inside. What is true to you? So as toddlers, this might look like the terrible twos, or if you want to say the tantrums go into the threes, whatever your child was like, if you've had children, but you've heard about the terrible twos. No, they resist what other people are telling them. They spent 2 years of their life just copying him and thinking everything is wonderful to resisting them and rebelling them. And no is their favorite word. And as preteens and teens, this might look like them locking themselves in their room. They're silencing the outside world to try to figure out what's going on inside. They're going inward to try to figure out who they are. They're trying to belong, but how do I know how to belong if I don't know who I am? But this can also come out as bitterness against others, like being in conflict. They're kind of moody at this stage in these teen years. And there's a lot of conflict because there's a lot of like, I don't know, inside. They're struggling to find the balance between being controlled and being in control of their life and their decisions. But can't you also see this in adults? Maybe adults who haven't really gone inside and really kind of, you know, reflected on who they are. They can also take time throughout their adulthood to go inside and to figure out, like, who am I right now in this stage of my life? Who do you want to be? And but you can also see adults rebelling about being controlled by others. You can still see adults being very bitter against others. And if these adults are acting rebellious and struggling to be independent, it's because, really they don't know who they are on the inside. Who are they? What is the truth on the inside? They're struggling because they don't like to copy others, they imitate others, they want to belong, but yet they don't know how to be independent. Brendon's third stage of life is rhythm and hustle. Rhythm is defined as having a routine or rituals. One could also say it can mean habits. So, what is your daily rhythm or routine like? Do you have a morning routine? Do you have a bedtime routine? The rhythm refers to a lot of what the beat of life. What is the beat of your life? What's the rhythm of your life like? Are you just going through the motions? Are you just busy? But really, the rhythm is there's just this normal pattern or schedule to life. So, as infants, for example, the rhythm of life is eating and sleeping, eating and sleeping, eating and sleeping. That is basically their life. And once kids get into school, it's getting up, having breakfast, going to school, coming home, playing, eating, playing again, going to bed. It's that normal kind of rhythm, that normal routine of life. What is a normal day like? And as adults, the rhythm of life revolves around work, social activities, and if you have kids, life revolves around the kids' schedule, routine, around their school activities and your work schedule. So it's get up, the kids ready for school, go to school, get to work, come home, have life things happen, cook meals, and just go to bed. It's that normal day-to-day stuff, that rhythm of life. Hustle means being busy and working quickly, but it also is like feeling like you're always just a little behind, that you're never going to get ahead. Brendon describes hustle as when you're working hard but you're not in harmony. You're not in alignment with your true calling or purpose. You're just busy being busy, not intentional or purposeful. You're just busy. It's busyness. With kids, I get the vision just because it's just spent Christmas recently. I envision them at Christmas time when they're like opening the presents and they're so excited that they're like jumping from one thing to the next and they're just really don't know what they're to do, really to do and where to start because they got all these new toys to play with. As adults, we can get into this hustle as well. I see it as quickly trying new things, but not sticking with them very long. It's going from one idea to another idea to try this and then try this and then try this. But I also think of the word and the term side hustle, which means that you're taking on other responsibilities, usually for an income stream, another job to create more money because we can't seem to get ahead financially. It's the feeling of not having enough. There's not enough time. There's not enough money. There's not enough this. That's like the hustle part of this life stage. Brendan also says this stage of rhythm and hustle can also look like boredom. Adults can feel stuck or bored in life. They're going through the motions, but it's not towards what they really want to do in life. But they don't know what else to do. It's just this normal rhythm. It's this normal routine that they're going through day in and day out. They can get stuck in a rut and they can start consuming or being distracted by things that really don't bring any meaning to their lives. It's TV, games, either on your phone or like video games or scrolling Facebook or Instagram or other social media platforms or scrolling the internet, doing some, shopping, online shopping, just distracted. They want to change, but it's really difficult to change their habits, their routine, their rhythm. They might be able to for a short period of time, but over long term, that it cycles back in. So sometimes you can blame distraction, like there's so much to be distracted with, but really, Brendan says it's boredom with life, not having, a purpose or being intentional on where they want their life to go. So that was stage 3. Stage 4 of life, Brendan talks about in like last week on his New Year's Day training was renewal and leadership. Renewal means invention or resetting. We have a chance to do this every single day. It's not just a once in a lifetime thing. This could be a spiritual or energetic renewal. It could also be recovery and expansion, meaning being open to learning and developing, of connecting and aligning. It could be experiencing life in the present moment, being really present with others each and every day, and being intentional and purposeful in your actions. So renewal can just be a simple mindset shift, and that can happen at any time. We're experiencing life and learning from it. From infants to kids to young adults to older adults, we have experiences that we create or give a meaning to. And later, we can give a different meaning to that experience. We can change or rewrite our story, per se, the meaning we give an experience. For example, there's been numerous times in my life where I've gotten injured, whether it was sports or doing something else, or maybe one of my kids have gotten injured playing sports or participating in some activities. At the moment it happened, the moment the injury happened, oftentimes, oh, this is the worst thing that could happen right now. But for me, I often look for the silver lining. Yes, it might be, this is the worst thing that could happen. But give it a few minutes and I look for the silver lining. I really believe there's always something that I need to learn or that I can learn from the experience, even if it's a bad one. So, for example, when I tore my patella tendon jumping on a trampoline, in my late 40s, I reset it. I used it as a kind of a renewal that I really needed to learn to slow down a little bit. Plus, you know what? The benefit, the knee came back stronger. It got, surgery, all tidied back up. It came back stronger than it was before. Or the example that I often refer to as this is like when my daughter tore her ACL in high school and had to have surgery and go through rehab. I told her that it either would solidify her desire to get into physical therapy or she will decide that PT would not be for her. Having to go through all, months of rehab on that. And guess what? This last May, she graduated with her doctorate in physical therapy. So, tearing her ACL and having to go to rehab did not deter her, but maybe actually enhanced her desire to go into physical therapy. So, do you have a story like that happened in your life that, oh, you reset a shift in how you viewed something because it actually can be a good experience? But it doesn't have to be a potentially life-changing experience for you to make a renewal. It can happen every single day, like I said earlier, even multiple times a day. It's as simple as shifting your thoughts. You can focus on the negative or you can shift and focus on the positive. You have the power to control how you feel through the power of your thoughts. It's just as easy to think of the negative as it is to think of the positive. It's your choice. It's just as easy to feel like you're running behind as it is to feel like you have everything in control, even if it's just controlled chaos. The second part of this fourth life stage is leadership. Brendon describes two types of leadership, self and social. Self leadership is guiding yourself on your own vision and path while staying accountable and empowered along the way. It's setting your own goals, dreams, and desires and creating a vision for them and choosing activities that will help you accomplish them. It is making decisions on what you will do, what routines and habits you need to implement in order to achieve your goals. And it's taking personal responsibility for what you do and what you don't do. It's taking responsibility for your time and committing to a better future for yourself. Now, social leadership is being a role model for others. It's a role model for your family members, your community, your church, and even at your workplace. This is going to require some creative leadership on your part that no AI copy can replace. It's having a vision of a better future for yourself and others that inspires you to change up your rhythm of life, to be a little rebellious at times, and to act independently. Renewal and leadership is about taking charge of how you are participating in life. You need to be present to experience life and to feel the energy of life, to be open to learning, developing, and growing in order to be aligned to your true calling and purpose. It's about standing up for what's right for you, which might mean you need to go within and lock yourself into your room like a rebellious teenager in order to get quiet and figure it out. Then emerge as an independent thinker, comfortable in your own skin, knowing that real freedom relies on loving yourself and connecting to a higher power, not in trying to fit in with the Joneses. We all cycle in and out of what Brendon calls four stages of life: mimicry and belonging, rebellion and independence, rhythm and hustle, renewal and leadership. All of these are necessary and are not all bad for us. All these stages teach us something. What have they taught you? Where can you see yourself in these stages? What examples from your own life can you relate to each of these stages? Are there some stages that you want to be in more than others? Why? How about less? What is one thing you need to do to be fully present in the stage of life you want to be in right now? Life is full of stages and choices. I hope you choose to be more fully present and intentional in whatever stage you are in to experience life at its fullest.